Steve Prescott's hands up! For Steve Prescott's hands up! For Steve Prescott's hands up!
Today on the agenda, as we are approaching halfway through the season, who is in fight for survival? What do you think, Ben?
Well, it's been an interesting start to Super League. Before the season, I think a lot of people, I know a few people that thought London wouldn't actually win a game. So when they won 3 of the first 6 or 7, I think alarm bells were ringing. Certainly for some of the teams you would perhaps predict to be in the bottom half, like Hull KR, Huddersfield, teams like that. And then obviously as we've got into the season, Leeds and Wigan have struggled. So it's still quite tight at the bottom, albeit London have lost the last 6 games now, and are really starting to struggle. So I think as much as people will say London are still the strong favourites to go down, they've proved they can win games. I think they will still win some more games. It's just up to the likes of Leeds, Wigan, Huddersfield, Hull KR, the teams above them, to win more, and you probably would predict them to do that, but you can't count your chickens in this league, and I think it's the most unpredictable season yet. And it wouldn't surprise me if London went on a bit of a winning run, and if that happens, then the teams that are above them will really start to struggle and worry about the situation.
Do you agree, Sean? Are London trying to survive at this point?
Yeah, I think everybody will admit that London are the team struggling, but as you said, it all comes down to a bit of luck at the end of the day. I think people underestimate how important a fixture list can look, especially if you're playing teams off the back of who are playing a harder game, and then you go into that game and you can get a little bit of luck because a bit of team selection difference, or you're playing a team that's just hit with a few injuries at the right time.
Do you think Leeds and Hull KR are at risk as well? I
think Leeds it's a difficult one with Leeds, isn't it? Because you seem to play good rugby, and then they all of a sudden they turn into this like dozy team.
Do you think they become complacent?
Yeah, and not even so much complacent. I don't know. Just even the Hull KR game at the weekend where they're so far ahead, and it might be complacency, but you'd think with the amount of time they've done it over the course of the season, that would be a write-off. Like, you'd be wanting to put 50 on them. But then there's still mistakes come into play. They come a bit lazy with the ball, and whether doze is the right word to use, and all of a sudden Hull KR are back in the game and within one score of winning it, and it's not what you want to be seeing as a Leeds fan for consistency purposes. I think they'll be okay because I think they've got that in the locker. The first 40 minutes against Hull KR, they've got that in the locker, and they've proved it on a number of occasions. The game against Salford, for example, and you can get away with playing games like that and just scraping wins, and it'll keep you in the division. I think Leeds will be one of those teams. I don't think they'll be pushing for the top 5. I think that's a bit too far out the reach now because you'd have to put 80 minutes together consistently. I don't think they've got that quite yet. Maybe next season they come back into it slightly. I think Hull KR and Huddersfield are the two that are looking most dangerous, because Huddersfield look very, very dominant in the first half and then turn into a different team in the second half, like they're trying to hold on to games. I think you've found that a few times where they've been slightly ahead at half time and then they've allowed teams to come back at them, and they've not really been able to dominate the middle of the game. And whether they can do that enough over the course of the season, or whether teams will gift them 2 points, i.e. if they're ahead at half time, the second half the other team doesn't come out and really perform to the standard that they should, and that will get them enough points to get over the line.
Do you think it's a bit of luck then, like Sean says, or do you think some teams could turn it around now?
We talk about Wigan. I'd take Wigan out of it. I think they're gonna win enough games. And
why do you think that is?
They just. I think we talked about it the other week. They've probably got the best back line in Super League when they're all fit. And just for the personnel, Adrian Lamb's just come in. They're going to get more used to his coaching style, and I think they're going to win probably more games than they lose, I think, in the rest of the season. I think Wigan will start to climb the table, and it's such an unpredictable season. I don't actually think there's that much between the likes of Wakefield and Castleford, and then I don't think there's much difference between them and, say, Huddersfield and Leeds. Like, Huddersfield have beaten Castleford, Leeds have beaten Castleford, Wakefield just edged out Leeds. There's not that much difference between those 4 teams, in my opinion. But the one team I do worry about is Hull KR, actually. Obviously they come back at Headingley at the weekend, but they've got a growing injury list, and they've still got to play London twice. And if London can get the better of them in them 2 games, you just never know, because if those players that they've got out are such key players, if they are not coming back anytime soon, then I do worry for them. But I honestly don't think London are miles off. Like they played Huddersfield at Easter and lost by 5 points. They're not a million miles away, and they're a lot closer than what people thought they would be, albeit on a bad run at the moment. But I think they'll still win games, and I think one of those teams, possibly OKR, could be dragged into it.
You agree?
I am a little bit worried about OKR. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the Good Friday derby between FC and KR, and I came out and said KR were the more consistent side at that point in the season, being that the performances were more consistent over a regular period than FC, who were winning by a bit and losing by a lot. But FC seem to have come into their own, and obviously the Good Friday derby proved how different they are now compared to the first game of the season, where obviously KR nicked it in the last minute. And yeah, like you said, I think KR just sort of dropped off a little bit. I think you look at the early performances at the start of the season where they beat FC, and then they beat Leeds, and they went to Warrington and they put a massive performance in against Warrington, albeit in a losing side. And they seem to have lost that little bit of grit to get close to big results. And I think they tried to sort of reimagine that, refine that against Leeds, but I think that was more due to Leeds letting them back in rather than them coming back into the game themselves. I think they need to, in the next couple of games, they need to sort of pick up that consistency. Yeah, the personnel on show at OKR, they're not going to be the team that wins by a lot every single week, but if they can play a consistent game, they will catch teams off the game, and that might be the best way for OKR to stay in the division, being that they're probably not going to overly impress for the rest of the year.
I think it's the forwards where they're struggling. You've got Maguire and Drinkwater in the halves when fit and on the back of a good forward pack. They're a team that would stay in Super League, but without that, I think it could be between them and London if I were to pick out 2 teams. And yeah, I think Huddersfield might just get clear, and I think Leeds will pick up enough wins, and I don't count Wigan in that, and then you're up to Salford, Catalans then, and I don't think those teams are in danger of dropping out.
I think the only team that I'm worried about is Huddersfield. I think at the minute they're very much reliant on the likes of Alex Miller at the back line, and obviously they've got a few injuries as well, which will come back and they might pick up wins because of that. But I feel like if I was a Huddersfield fan, I'd be wanting the points now rather than later, because we know what can happen with Huddersfield over the course of the season.
Which Super League team do you think is fighting for survival? Comment below, subscribe and rate this video.
Watch every game of the NRL, plus the grand final and state of origin from anywhere outside Australia, New Zealand or the Pacific Islands. Go to watchnrl.com and take the footy with you.